Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Raginam Namaskrityam Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Yasam Tato Jayam Dirayet Nashta Prayesh Vabhadrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Neshtiki. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is 9th Canto, Chapter 4, verse number 69. Should we give the class in English or in French? Vous parlez français? Non, hein? Toi, oui, je sais. Mais pas ton ami?
Je pense que c'est mieux qu'on fasse en anglais.
Ok.
Je ne pourrais pas rester jusqu'à la fin, je ne pourrais pas traduire.
Ça va.
Tu veux un verre d'eau?
Oui, je veux bien. Merci. So, let us recite the Sanskrit. Upayam kathayishyami
Upayam kathayishyami
tata viprashinusvatat
tava viprashinusvatat
ayami atma bhicharaste
ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Dosu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Hartu kurute shiva
Bharatu kurute shivam
Upayam kathayishyami
Upayam katayishyami
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayami yatma bhirashchaste
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Dosu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Hartu kurute shiva
Bharatu kurute shivam
Upayam kathayishyami
Upayam katayishyami
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayami yatma bhirashcha Atma yatma bhirash Ayami yatma bhicharaste
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Sadushu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Bhavatu kurute shivam
Bhavatu kurute shivam
Shivas. Yes.
Upayam katayishyami
Upayam katayishyami
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayami atma vicharaste
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Shadusu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Praharatu kurute shivam
Bharatu kurute shivam
Upayam katayaswami
Upayam katayishyami
Tava viprashinusvata
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayam hi atma vicharasche
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Sadhusu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Prahartu kurute sivam
Bharatu kurute shivam
Upayam katayishyami
Upayam katayishyami Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayam atma vicharaste
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Sadhushu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Rahatu kurute shivam
Bharatu kurute shivam
Srinita Isachi Sutra Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Radha Parishishvara ki
Jai.
Vaishnavis, any ladies want to try?
Upayam katayishyami
Upayam katayishyami
Tava viprasrinusvata
Tava viprashrinushvatat
Ayam hi atma vicharaste
Ayam yatma vicharaste
Yatastam yahimachiram
Yatastam yahimachiram
Sadhusu prahitam teja
Sadushu praitam teja
Prahartu kurute sivam
Bharatu kurute shivam
Okay, word for word. Upayam,
Upayam
means of protection in this dangerous position.
The means of protection in this dangerous position
Vaishyami, I
Vaishyami
shall speak to you.
I shall speak to you
Tava,
Tava
of your deliverance from this danger. Vipra,
Vipra
O Brahmana,
O Brahmana
Shinusva, just hear from me. That, what does it say? Ayam, section taken by you. He, indeed, Atma Abhichara, self-envy or envious of yourself. Your mind has become your enemy. Te, for you. Yataha, because of whom, Tam, to him, Maharaj Ambarish, he immediately go, Machiram, do not wait even a moment, Sadhushu, two devotees, Sahitam, replied, Teja, power, Prahatu, executor, Kurute, does, Ashivam, in auspiciousness. Translation by His Divine Grace, O Brahmana, let me now advise you for your own protection. Please hear from me. By offending Maharaj Ambarish, you have acted with self-envy. Therefore, you should go to him immediately, without a moment's delay. One's so-called prowess, when employed against the devotee, certainly harms he who employs it. Thus, it is the subject, not the object, who is harmed. A Vaishnava is always an object of envy for non-devotees, even when the non-devotee happens to be his father. To give a practical example, Hiranyakashipu was envious of Prahlad Maharaj. This envy of the devotee was harmful to Hiranyakashipu, not to Prahlad. Every action taken by Hiranyakashipu against his son Prahlad Maharaj was taken very seriously by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, when Hiranyakashipu was on the verge of killing Prahlad, the Lord personally appeared and killed Hiranyakashipu. The service to the Vaishnava gradually accumulates and becomes an asset for the devotee. Similarly, harmful activities directed against the devotee gradually become the ultimate cause of the performer's fall down. Even such a great Brahmana and mystic yogi as Durvasa was in a most dangerous situation because of his offense to the lotus feet of Maharaj Ambarish, a pure devotee. Om again Jnanasya Anangrashakaya Chakshurnitam Tasmei Shivave Namaha Shishitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Vidati Svam Padantikam Om Deham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Guru Shri Upam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Shakam Vitam Cham He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopishada Vika Kanta Radha Kanta Stute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Adhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakatarubhyasha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Vinabhiyo Vaishnavibhiyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just gonna read again the translation of Brahmana. Let me now advise you for your own protection. Please hear from me. By offending Maharaj Ambarish, you have acted with self-envy. Therefore, you should go to him immediately, without a moment's delay. One's so-called prowess, when employed against the devotee, certainly harms he who employs it. Thus, it is the subject, not the object, who is harmed. There is a famous example of this, of course, returning back to the giver of the curse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially. ISKCON cursed him to be healed, but he fell ill. or the king who cursed Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also he was envious in Jagannath Puri because Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him every month you have to pay a certain amount of money to please Jagannath because you have misdirected the treasury. Therefore, now you have to do some compensation to Lord Jagannath, and for that you have to give, I think, around that approximately 56 or 54 offering per day to Lord Jagannath. Since this day, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur instituted that into Jagannath Puri temple, till this day Jagannath is eating so many times. The king was really envious of Bhaktivinoda Thakur because of him he had to spend so much money on feeding Lord Jagannath and could not use any more the money for himself and for his family. Therefore he went into black magic, left hand tantra, and he tried to harm Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was empowered, a pure devotee, it is said that the mace of the Lord is always protecting and revolving around someone who is a pure devotee. When Yamaraj saw the Yamadutas, he told them, don't approach the devotees of the Lord, because the Gada, the mace of the Lord, is always there, revolving around them. If you try to harm them, the Lord will directly find a way to harm you. Similarly, the king was there and tried to harm by incantation. He engaged so many brahmanas at his service to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but finally, actually, the son of the king get killed instead. And this is actually also what happened in the Bhagavatam when you mispronounce something, when you do yagya. According to Vedic pronunciation, it has to be really regulated, and if it's not properly made, the yagya may either be cancelled, or even if your mispronunciation means something else, it can return against you. You have any example of that? You remember? In the sixth canto, yes? Yes, exactly. Yes, that's a good example. The Vitrasura was supposed to be invoked to kill the enemy of Indra. To kill Indra, because if I remember correctly, there is Dvashta, the father of Vishwarup, and he went to officiate for Indra, but he was born from a family of demigod and demon. Therefore, he was while officiating, he was reciting silently the name of the demons to offer them their share. But Indra, when he understood that, he cut the head of the priest. The father went mad, and therefore he did a yagya to invoke Vritasura to kill Indra. Because there were a mispronunciation, actually the one who was doing the yagya will get killed as well. So the Vritasura had to become the one beating the demigod. So like this as well, Sudakshina in Krishna's pastimes, he do a mispronunciation. Or no, Shiva arranged that somehow or another. He told this demon is meant to kill everyone who is not charitable to brahmanas. And demon went to attack Krishna, but Krishna is known to be really Goparamanya Hitayacha. Therefore, the demon went back to Sudachina and destroyed the capital. Like that. So, there is so many times in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna ensures Arjuna that my protection is there. If you do Bhajanti Ananya Manaso, if you constantly absorbed in myself, then Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshimam Bharamiyam. I will preserve everything, your security, what you lack materially, I will give to you. Not only that, but Krishna says, Masucha, don't worry, I will give you fearlessness. If you surrender unto me, Sarvandami Paritaja, then Masucha, you will be freed from worry. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. Not only that, but Krishna says also for one who surrenders unto him, Gyadvam Shantim Richati, get in peacefulness. It says in the Shastra, Muktanam api siddhanam, Vasudeva parayana, Sudurabam prashantatma. They are not peaceful, they are super peaceful. And this is what happened, the difference between Durvasa Muni, who is supposed to be a Brahman, Mavadi, therefore the one who has transcended dualities. But in face of the three kleshas, or the three difficulties of this material world, our mind, our own body, the elements, and the others, in front of someone else, the duality was of which is represented by Ambarish Maharaj, was causing him to be unbalanced and angry. Therefore he cursed, and therefore he went mad, and therefore he committed an aparad. So like that, Krishna says many times, Sarvat Chantim Nigachati. Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma, Sarvat Chantim Nigachati. He says to Arjuna, if you surrender to me, you practice bhakti, then really quickly, Kshipram, then Sarvat Chantim Nigachati, you will be liberated from, you will become righteous quickly. So not only bhakti is meant to protect ourselves, but it's meant to purify ourselves quickly so that we get a nice behavior. Krishna, let's say, tell to those who are non-devotees who would like to take the indirect path that it's really difficult if you want to be not a devotee and be a spiritualist. You will have to suffer because you won't be getting my protection, my mercy. Krishna says, Mamevaya prapajante. Devi Shagunamaim. Mama Maya Durachaya. It's really difficult to overcome, but Mamevaya prapajante, Mayamitam tarantite. If you take shelter of me, then all the dualities which are really difficult for even a Brahmavadi, yogi of the caliber of Durvasa Muni to overcome, you will be able to remain super peaceful. So, one thing I want to really attract your attention on is Atma Abhichara, self-envy. I think this is really important to understand that when you harm others, you actually harm yourself. When you, it can be understood in many ways, scientifically, psychologically, devotionally. When you harm yourself, when you harm others, you harm yourself because the Lord is in everyone's heart. Therefore, when you give pain to someone, you give pain to him. That pain is given by the Lord into your heart as well. This is empathy. Naturally, when we give pain to others, we feel it. The Lord is doing the transaction. You're doing pain to someone, I give you also a share of that pain. And then there is karma as well. It can be also understood when you, scientifically they say, according to studies, that when you are imbibe in negative thought, then you are more prone to develop sickness or mental issues. So let's say I'm envious, I'm angry, then naturally, for example, anger is located in le foie, the liver. So generally, those who are even doctors, materialistic doctors, they know that when you have emotional stress, liver is impacted. And those who are mostly egocentric, they are mostly disturbed in their mind because they cannot achieve what they want to control over others. This frustration is causing them to lose their hair, to burn out. We lose our hair, but for another reason. It's because the Vaishnavas, they are wise. They want to cut their hair before to get old. That's why. So, yeah, in so many ways it can be not only medically, but can be understood as well that to act negatively towards someone is naturally going to have a karmic repercussion. So if you act bad against someone, actually you don't like yourself because you will take a share of what you are doing. So karmic result oblige you to cooperate with others if you want to be nice toward you. In the world, many people are actually self-envious, unconsciously or consciously. They smoke, they may drive mad, like in Paris. I'm always surprised to see so many people on their motorbike, and they do zigzag between the cars, and basically they risk their life like this. They may get some pleasure and they get time, and they are having time at work. Basically they put their life at risk every day. Prabhupada would call this the car civilization. Whoosh, whoosh. We'll do like this. Whoosh, whoosh. And every time, at any moment, people can get killed by time. But Krishna Kapila Dev said to devotee, Nangshanti Naminimi Soliditi, Kalichin Chantarape. Those, my dear mother, Shantarupa, those devotees, they cannot even be killed by time. So it's really strange to hear that from Kapila Dev, because we are necessarily going to die. So how are we getting protected from the effect of time? Krishna says, Yesham Atma Priya Sutasha Sakaburu Sulido Deva Nishta. Because I'm their life, because I am their preceptor, because I am their father, I am their son, I am their mother and their friend, even though at the time of death they lose all this family relationship or material possession, they don't lose me. Therefore they have everything. Time cannot take them. So that's really wonderful to see that Krishna is preserving like that us from the influence of time. So you can be self-envious in more subtle, in ways who are more subtle. It's explained in Bhagavad Gita. Dambo darpo bimanachta. Krodhyam parushyam evacha. Tamas jagnana vitraya. Sampadam devimasui. So this is the 16th chapter, verse number 4. And here, Dambo, to act as a religious person when you are not. So, like Jarasan or Karna or people like that, or Duryodhana, those Vaishnava Yagya. You know, in Mahabharata it's described that after the Rajasuya of Yudhishthira, Duryodhana was so envious of him that he told me also I should get recognized as a great king. So let me do a Vaishnava Yagya. But Duryodhana was everything except a Vaishnava, because he was basically the personification of Kali. He was envious of all the devotees. So as soon as you're actually posing as a religious person, you actually are an hypocrite. Because a religious person is humble. He does not consider himself a devotee or someone saintly. And this is harming yourself. Hypocrisy can harm yourself. To pose as a religious person can harm yourself. When you do that, you are self-envious because you lose the trust of everyone. Because they will look at you and they will see, sooner or later, that you're not walking your talk. You're not the one you pretend to be. After that, there is Darpo. Darpo means to feel superior to others. This is basically the problem of Dhruva Samuni here. Dhruva Samuni has accomplished so many siddhis. Here it's mentioned in the translation, so-called prowess. The prowess has been given by me, the Lord says. You think this is yours. Because you think it's yours, it's so-called prowess. It will be taken out. Or it will be cancelled. So Dharpo means to feel superior to others. And this is here, really. If you have that, actually when you feel pride, it's actually detrimental to you. That's why it's called also self-envy. Your mind has become your enemy. Your mind has stricken you to think you are so great and bigger than you are. That's the illusion of the mind. The false ego has been inflated to such an extent you think you are equal to God. And this is detrimental to you. Because when you think you are big, you think you can walk on people. You don't care so much about the ends when you are human. And similarly, if your false ego is so great that you think you are the God, then you will be walking on other steps and other feet, and people will be really angry at you. So you will commit offenses. And the Lord especially is there to warn anyone who dares to offend his devotees. And Bhimanasht. Bhimanasht is actually looking for recognition. Abhiman, actually. Abhiman. So when you look for recognition, this demoniac tendency is actually self-envy. Because you are basically trying to take the place of the Lord. But you are fallible. And people, they recognize, they will soon see as well that you are fallible. So you will have conflict with others. Because not everybody will agree that you will be at the center of the attention. And when we try to get recognition, not only we want to be seen by everybody, not only we want to be respected by everybody, but it's basically the primary contamination of bhakti. You start to put something aside than the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever you try to do for your own pleasure is just not benefiting you, because you get outside of all the many promises, opulences of Krishna. And Krodha, anger, here, Dhruva Samuni, example, Parusya, harsh word, Dhruva Samuni as well. So many things, settle envy, just one word of anger can break a relationship. So it's so difficult after or just one harsh word can just plunge you into such distress. Because for a devotee, association is everything. So I want to just do a little thing for you, and I want to explain, or let's say I want to draw something for you. Yes, this is the first time I used that. Okay.
Yeah, you need to say.
Okay.
It's Prabhu.
Oh, yes.
Going to like that.
Oh, no, no.
Okay, it's good. You'll get improved in time, don't you? So when you are a Brahmavadi, when you are in the mode of goodness, what's according to you the thing, your state of mind? Can you describe some qualities of someone who is in the mode of goodness? Peaceful. Yes, very good. So don't mind I'm left-handed. Peaceful. Okay, everybody can read that. Peaceful. Okay. And the problem is when you are peaceful, you can get the default of your quality. If you misuse your quality, that's basically the verse of today. Vishnu is saying to you, because you have misused your so-called prowess, then you have harmed yourself. When I feel peaceful, there is a risk. And the risk is I'm so peaceful. Therefore, I can take risk. Or I deserve respect. Or you take unnecessary risk when you are peaceful. Or you don't take lightly the danger. It can be one thing. Or because you are peaceful, there is that tendency that because I'm so satisfied within myself, therefore I can do anything. I can even take some risk that usually a person who is more careful, who have not this vision of himself, will not take. So for people who generally are peaceful, they may be like Dovasa as well. They may take unnecessary risk, like not dealing nicely with a devotee. So sometimes people who are peaceful, they take a risk. And you have another
better drawing than better risk.
what?
You improve.
Yes. Is there any other characteristic of
Truthful.
truthful? Yes. Truthful. What could be a misuse of that quality? I don't need to listen from others. I know the truth. Isn't it? When you become knowledgeable, you don't want to listen from others. People should listen to you. Isn't it? That's a perversion of our Vedic knowledge, accumulation of knowledge. I know the truth. People should listen to me. And if it doesn't go my way, I become angry, like Dovasamani. I know the truth. I know the rules and regulation. Why don't you follow? Why don't you respect me? I'm Chaturvedi. I know all the Vedas. So when you are truthful, you may just forget to listen. from others. And is there any other qualities of someone who is in the mode of goodness?
Humbleness.
Humility.
Humility. Well, Krishna doesn't say that in the Bhagavad Gita.
Cleanliness. Clever.
But yeah, it can be humility. But in the case of Durvasa Muni, there is a fall down from his humility. But let's say, okay, humility. I think this is a good one. Humility is part of goodness. And is there any downside of humility? How can you misuse your humility? Is there any time in your life where you felt so humble that you missed something, an opportunity? It never happened to you?
Many times.
What?
No, I said many times.
Okay. So, yeah, sometimes you are just so humble that you don't take any opportunity to serve. Isn't it? It happened so many times. But actually, this is not the real humility. Real humility means you act as a servant, not just think yourself the lowest. But you put that in practice by service to others. So we may just miss service attitude or opportunities for service, because humility is a great factor of service attitude, but misplaced can just become the opposite.
That's of course not humility, that should be escaping mentality.
Yes, that's a good one. Escaping, yes, that's basically this. I will better I take your advice.
Okay.
Escaping mentality, that's a good one. Yes, very good. Is there any other qualities?
Knowledge, jnana.
Okay, let's say I will put that here, okay? Knowledge and truthful. Can become so proud as well. We can even put here pride. Pride is the main ingredient who is there. Generally people, it says Sukha Sangena Badnati, chapter 14 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 6. Krishna says, those who are in the mood of goodness, they are not only enlightened, but they are really happy. Sukha. So they are happy. But when you are happy,
Got entangled by this happiness in this world.
yes, if you feel so much happy in this world, then you don't look for liberation anymore.
You don't surrender.
Yes,
You may not surrender.
exactly. So those who are in the mode of goodness, they may slack at some point. So I feel so happy inside. Therefore, they return in this world to open hospitals, for example. So, slack. And linearly it says, Krishna says this is among the modes of nature, this is the purest. So there is some sort of detachment and purity involved with the mode of goodness. So if I put here, when you feel pure,
But even in a mode of, I know, just my question, pure one guna that is influencing at the moment. There is still some tinge of the
Yes.
even if you are in the mood of goodness.
Yes.
It's just only on Vasa.
We're talking about material goodness, just
even
sattva.
material goodness.
not pure, unalloyed, unmixed goodness. So, what is the downside when you feel pure or you are pure?
Will not put effort to be really pure.
Okay, maybe you slack it as well.
You feel better than others, maybe.
Yes, Azula. But one particularity of being pure is that you may want to preserve your purity and therefore you don't associate with others. You know, Brahmavadis, they are like that. Yogis, they are like that. For them, the world is impure and they are pure, they want to put distance. So you may want to withdraw yourself as well. Or you may want to protect yourself. But you protect yourself so much that you don't relate to others as well. So some people, they want to keep pure and therefore they are solitary. Like that.
Does it go along with the cleanliness or just it's like you put
Purity is cleanliness.
So it's like more like cleanliness.
Yes. And so many emphasis on rules and regulation. Basically, the problem of Durvasamani here is Niyamagraha. He puts too much emphasis on the rules and regulation rather than understanding the principle behind. But you getting entangled in the rules of regulation of the Vedas when you are actually in goodness, when you have too much focus on cleanliness, on things like that. And then you put the rules before the relationship. And often, just for one little problem with a rule, we just commit a big mistake with someone. The problem of the Brahmavadis is that their conception is deprived of much relationship. Their conception of the spiritual perfection is deprived of relationship. Therefore, they don't put so much emphasis on relationship. Generally, you know, there is the three kleshas, like I would say for a Brahmavadi.
Actually, they're selfish.
Yes, yes, exactly. So, impersonalism. Generally, you like, you know, Adideva. You know what is Adideva? This is Adideva is Adhyatmika Klesh. You know, here I will put the three Klesh, okay? And here is Adideva. Generally, Brahmavadi, they can tolerate so many things, so many dualities. They are more austere than us because their path is generally implies more austerity than Bhakti Yogis. So for them, hot, cold, winter, summer, easy. Generally, what do you think? Do you think the mind is more difficult to tolerate or people?
Mind.
The mind more difficult to tolerate? For Brahmavadi.
People.
People are more difficult to tolerate, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Impersonalist.
Yes, this is exactly the question here. Generally, Durvasa is known to control his mind, you know. He eats very little amount of grass juice every day. For him, for Brahmavadi, they put control of the mind. They think this is the most important thing to overcome. So generally, they think Adhyatma, the self, is more important than the clash of Atibhuta. Or Brahmavadi, they think we don't need to relate to people. We go in solitary practice and we don't have to relate with them. That's okay. The most important thing is the mind. This is confirmed in Nayam Jano Mesuka Dukkha Etu Nadevatatma Grakha Karmakara Mana Param Karanam Amananti Samsara Chakram Parivartayadya. I think suffering in this world comes from others, the devas, the time factor, the karma and so on, but in fact it comes only from my mind. But actually, this is a Brahmavadi who says that. Actually, a devotee, we think what is most difficult for him to deal with is not the mind. The mind can go on, but it's like that for a devotee. Most difficult thing is to learn how to relate with others, because the ultimate goal is to be a servant. So I have to relate with others. And this is confirmed in Bhagavatam when Shiva is saying, Tapyontak lokatapena sadava prayashojana purushasya kilatmana paramat manam taddi. It means almost every time the sadhus, they consider that to give oneself to others, to serve others, to enlighten others, is the most important and most precious activities, and the most difficult. Why? Why is it so important, and why is it so appreciated to relate with others as a sadhu? Because Paramat Manam Taddi, the Lord is in the heart of everyone. So when I start to relate with others, naturally I try to overcome my impersonalism. Why? The impersonalists, they cannot be so fixed in their peacefulness, because their conception of the divine is deprived of deep relationship. Because they put relationship aside, then for them, people as well are not so important to relate to. But for a devotee, Krishna, devotees, living entities, everybody has to be taken in account. And therefore it says, Acharya evaraye pujam yashvadayate natad bhakteshu chaneshu sabhakta prakita smita. One devotee who cannot relate with others is considered low. Even though he does so many rules and regulations, even though he's in the altar, even though he's initiated Brahmana, even though he takes 3 baths a day, even though he is really clean, he has mastered his mind, he eats only a little, everything he does nice, paka, he's still considered a low personality, because even though he can tolerate elements, and even though he can tolerate his mind, he still cannot tolerate the company of others. He doesn't know how to deal with them. Therefore, a Vaishnava who is more advanced, it says, Ishvare tadadineshu parisheshu dvasisa sucha. Prema betri ki propiksha yam madhyama sakaroti. This person is a madhyam, one who knows to relate according to people. I don't know, but that's my own experience. And this is also what Prabhupada said at the last moment in his life when he was ridden on his bed in Vrindavan. Someone told Prabhupada, you are so old, I would like to pray and to give you my youth. Let me give you my youth so you can exchange your old age with my youth. And like this, you can live so many years and I will be so happy. I'm ready to do that. And Prabhupada says, your love for me will be shown by how much you can cooperate. Meaning, it's more difficult to be together, cooperate together, than to give his own life to Krishna. It's so difficult to be in ashram and to cooperate with all the different conditioning, all the different level of adhikar. But we need that in order to overcome our impersonalism. When we know perfectly how to relate with others, then we become advanced Vaishnava. This is why in the qualities of the Vaishnava, Krishna, Kapiladev say to devotee, Titikshava Karunika, Sadava Sadabhusham, Sulida Savadainam is a well-wisher of everyone. Not only is a well-wisher of everyone, he is Ajata Shantarava Shanta. He has no enemy, not like Dhruva Samuni. Even if someone curses you, even someone criticizes you, even someone beats you, even if someone defames you, even someone neglects you, even if someone tortures you, everything, still, Tirashkita Viparada Tad Bhakta Prabhavupihi. It says in the first canto that the devotee, even though he can get all those things, even if he has the power to retaliate like King Parikshit, still he won't do that. He will accept. Tattenukapam Susanikshaman. He will accept and tolerate. So like that. Okay, sorry for having taken more time than expected. If you have any question, actually it's Prasadam, so there should not be any question.
Please cooperate.
So please cooperate only if you have really a burning question, you can ask, otherwise we can end up and take the burning Prasadam, who may soon become cold.
One question, but I don't want to ask.
Okay.
We have to go to Prasad.
Yeah, you can ask and everybody can choose.
Huh?
Yeah.
Ask, but I will.
Yeah. You will get a short answer, okay?
Short answer.
Okay.
What is the final thing here? Am I going to be always a devotee of Krishna? Or am I going to merge with Krishna? Or me is different and Krishna is different?
Depends on your desire. Yeah. You can.
What will happen?
What will happen?
Yeah.
Depend of your consciousness and desire, your practice, your desire. Mainly, it's only based on your desire, on your thought. So, at the end of life, your thought will determine. Your thought, your emotion, your liking, disliking will determine where you want to go. If you like, Yeyatamam Prapadyante. As simple as that. Krishna reciprocates your desires.
I have just one comment. Can you give the reference of the drawing that you have given so that we can make more?
Here, I just took 2 verses. This verse of Manam Param Karati.
Like all of the qualities, we tried to find it out. To be honest, it's very thin lines there. If one is not capable of finding the difference, it may be a little bit.
Which difference between?
Like
Qualities over there?
like humility was there. So
Yes.
in Bhakti Yoga, humility is considered one of the topmost qualities
Yes.
one should have.
Yes.
So how can this be differentiated between Brahmavadi and like Bhakti Yoga?
When you misuse it.
That's my confusion actually. And another one is saying like Prahlad Maharaj also told in Bhagavatam, he told that there is no other enemy of a person except the mind.
Yes.
And also we see he is the topmost devotee of the Lord.
Yes.
He is considered like this. And Avanti Brahman also said the same thing as you told, the Mana
Yes.
Karma Karana.
Yes.
So you told in this perspective that for the Brahmavadi, controlling mind is the topmost. But we see for the devotee also controlling mind is one of the main things, as also Krishna told in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, but in the perspective,
Atmanam.
in the perspective of devotional service, we accept turbulences of the mind to serve devotees. We take anxiety for Krishna. For example, if I want to, I'm ready to put the peace of my mind in trouble to serve devotees, to please them. So for example, Mahatma Prabhu, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, was saying, Prabhupada, since I'm temple president, I cannot chant my round. My mind is everywhere. I have so many responsibilities. And Prabhupada says, you continue to be president, you stay there, you just pray that you become qualified. So for Krishna, we accept to be disturbed. But for Brahmavadi, mainly the primary focus is I want to get my mind fixed. So this is basically para upakara, you accept to tolerate more for others. You see what I mean? So generally we put people in the front when we are in bhakti. We accept for the community of devotees to take suffering in our mind. The Brahmavadis, they are more self-centered. Therefore, for them, their peace of mind should not be touched at all. Or generally, this is why they are becoming angry, Like, yeah. Is it good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Humanity.
But I think there is very thin line
Yes.
between these differences, and it's like we should scrutinize these things very carefully,
Yes,
so
exactly.
that there is not mistake.
It's
Misunderstanding.
some thought here that are presented. But yeah, all those qualities can be spiritual and also tinged with the modes. Like there is charity in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Similarly, there can be any of those qualities in different shades. So,
because there are so many humanitarian people also, they give priority to people in their life.
yes.
Even they can sacrifice their life for the
Yes.
humanitarian activities. So on that point of view, are they on higher level than the Brahmavadi? Absolutely not.
No.
So how can we differentiate here?
That depends if you... Krishna gives in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita the hierarchy of what should be done. So he says, if you cannot absorb your mind completely in me, at least practice a sadhana. If you cannot practice a sadhana, at least engage activities for me. And then if you cannot engage activities for me, then start at least to cultivate knowledge in personalism and so on. Try to become conscious of your soul. If you cannot do that, at least be detached. Give. Try to give. Be charitable. So this hierarchy is there. So to be nice with people is good, but if those people are not devotees and your goal is not to become a devotee, then manurat tenasati devatobhai. Sooner or later you will fall down, So we need the association of devotees, and from there we can start to elevate ourselves. But basically, to be honest, the association of devotees is more important than just to be a Brahmavadi. Because Chanardenapi Tulai Naspunar Nasvargam Bhavan. Just a fraction of a second with a devotee is superior to everything of this world and moksha himself. So it's to be at the service of the devotees is more crucial than just to be a realized Brahmavadi. I would say that. Yeah. Because even though you don't have the purity of someone who is self-realized like Durga Samuni, still you are in the contact of devotees, and by devotional service you will get quick progress. Yeah. So like that. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Ambarish Maharaj ki, Durga Samuni ki, Jai Gol Premanande.
Jai.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Attends.